afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Democratic View on this very cold day, of which we have had many. My name is Phyllis Italiano, and I am the hostess. And with me today, I'm very honored to have a very special woman. I say special all the time, but this woman is really special, Sylvia Overby. And thank you so much for coming today, Sylvia.
Thank you. It's always fun to be on the show.
Yes, I know. Well, you have been before. And I was going to say to everybody that you've been here enough times that I know that your history. Born in California.
I was.
And went to Florida because your mother worked at Rollins College. And then from there you went to Emory and majored in biology.
I did. Good memory.
Yeah, I do have a great memory.
Wow.
And then you worked at Macy's in Atlanta.
I did.
And that's where you met your husband.
That's exactly where I
Who
met.
brought you up here to and said, if you really want to see a great beach, I'm going to show you one.
That's right.
And you, like me, fell in love with East Hampton.
I did.
So, and you are a resident of Amagansett right now.
I am, and I love Amagansett. It's really a special place.
I feel the same way about the Springs.
Everybody, you know, that's an incredible part of East Hampton is vast. It's 73 square miles.
Yes.
And you get people that are, you know, will live no other place except Wainscott, or they'll live no other place except Springs. And it is an amazing thing that people get so loyal to their hamlets.
Well, that is so true, because I sometimes, when I've traveled around in different parts and I look at different places and I say, maybe I should live here. And then I say, but where would I go swimming? Because I live right near Maidstone.
That's right, you like to go swimming every day.
And I jump in the water from the beginning of May till the end of October every morning.
So my favorite story about the loyalty to your hamlets was our kids. I think my oldest son was maybe about 10 or 11. He was playing soccer. And we were at the John Marshall Fields. And the woman standing next to me said, oh, you know, my husband grew up in Amagansett, and he lived on Atlantic. And so we were chatting about Amagansett. And I turned to her and I said, oh, and are you from here too? And she said, oh, no, I'm from Montauk. So I thought that was a lesson learned. So everybody is very loyal and very, you know, their little hamlets sort of complete them in a way that is charming and part of what's wonderful about East Hampton.
Yes, I guess we do have very strong identities.
We do.
I mean, I know I always say that in my particular neighborhood, that I can go out in, let's say, April when it's warm enough, eat my breakfast outside, and you can hear a pin drop where I live.
That's nice.
That's pretty special.
That's nice.
It's pretty special.
Yep.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Yep.
So I want to talk about some of the things that you have been actively involved in. And of course, being someone who just put solar panels the end of October on my roof. And I wanted to know what the town is thinking about with the installation of solar panels around the town.
Well, we have three what we call requests for proposal that are going out. One has already been completed, and that's the one called FIT2, and FIT and then II. It stands for we're trying to get, there was a FIT1, we're into FIT2, and it's to be able to do solar panels and sell the electricity back to, now it's PSE&G. The difference between LIPA and PSE&G, because LIPA is still in our lives, LIPA owns the grid, and PSE&G is operating the grid. So those are the two different entities that are now part of our electrical components for East Hampton, or for Long Island. So we went out for an RFP. We got 13 bids back. This is to put enough solar electricity for 40 megawatts, which is a big number. We probably won't get 40 megawatts just out of East Hampton, but it was for the whole East End. So that RFP, we got 13 responses from 13 companies. The Sustainable Energy Committee looked at the 13 responses, and rated them with a sheet that they had a form where they could rank the different entities that had come back, and they selected 3. Now, there were about maybe 15 different sites that the town owns that might be possible for solar panels. You know, there were at the sanitation department, at the dump. There were some old...
One of my favorite places.
Yeah, one of our favorite. There were some old dump sites that were also, that could be considered. So, and some companies picked some sites over others. It was a little bit, hard to match them all up. And so what they did is selected 3 companies. So the 3 companies then can get a letter of intent from the town of East Hampton, and then they can go forward to LIPA with what they would do with LIPA. Now, that doesn't end the story, because we then get to come back after, if they're selected, and LIPA may not select any of them, and then we can come back and really start negotiating with them for sites and how much money would come back, leasing agreements. And there's a premium attached. The more solar we produce, there's a premium in coming back to the site that we could negotiate for. So the amount of electricity we generate is dependent on. So we have to negotiate all of those parts of the contract. So it's not. It's still in process.
I myself interviewed and had people from 4 different companies come before I chose the one that I did choose. And, it is a process that you have to go through to figure out who's going to give you not only the best deal, but, who you sort of have a good feeling about. And I also had to cut down trees.
So that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some areas that some companies are looking at and want to clear it, and it might not be good for the town to be able to clear where they want to clear. So we're not. As I said, it's in the process. It's not finished yet. So then 2 other RFPs are just now going out, and one is called the 280 megawatt. And there was a lot of question on why in the first one, the FIT 2, we didn't have the airport as one of the properties for these companies to look at. And so with the 280, we are saying just look at the airport. That's the only thing for them to come back and talk to us about. So several of the companies that had given us the request for proposal for the FIT 2 had given sketches of what they would do if the airport ever came available. So, and they were all so different. And we're not in the position to actually plan and to know what's the best use and how the solar panels should be done at the airport. So we'll go out for an RFP to see how these companies are going to design it. And there are certain things that they really have to take into consideration. Obviously, the FAA would eventually get involved. We do have some grasslands out there that were part of our environmental assessment for the airport. So we have to make, if you're a company that wants to bid on this RFP for the airport, they really should look at our comprehensive plan and the master plan for the airport, the ALP.
So if you do them at the airport, the money that is generated through the power that you are feeding into the grid, will that be kept by the airport?
Yes, because we have a separate fund for the airport.
So that would then take care of some of the maintenance of the airport?
It could certainly do that.
Be used for that purpose?
It has to stay within that fund. We can't use it for other things in East Hampton.
But if you're doing it at other places, that whatever money that is made would feed into the town?
Would feed into the town, yes.
To help on the budget that you have been cursed with?
Well, the budget is very tight. So, part of government is to balance a tight budget with the needs of the community and raising taxes. So,
you understand that?
Yeah, so we want to make sure that
would you go talk to some of those guys in Washington, too?
Well, that would, but that's part of what we need to do because, it's obvious to me. So,
yes.
The third RFP that's going out is what we call peaker plant for using it at peak times. So at peak times, we find, LIPA has found that they want to have an ability, and we have a small plant out here, but it's coal-fired. We'd like to get rid of the coal-fired plant and do something. It won't be green. It will still probably be an oil-fired plant, but it will be more environmentally friendly, and with the new stacks that they have, there would be no smoke emanating from it. Everything would be captured within the plant itself that has an environmental impact. So we went out for that one as well. And they're looking at 2 different locations for what they call peak times that we would need electricity.
You have to know so much to be on the town board, don't you?
Well, it's a learning process, and learning for me is a lot of fun. So it's an enjoyable thing. You know, you never know what you're going to be able to learn.
And
So,
you did spend years on which board?
the planning board.
You spent years on the planning
Yeah.
board. That's what I remembered, and I wanted to make sure that I was right on that. How
Yeah.
many years were you on
I
that?
was on that for 7.
7 years. That's a nice long stretch to learn an awful lot.
That was fun too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's a good segue into learning about government. Because again,
Yes.
you have to balance. People have rights to the property that they own, and then we have a code that we have to make sure they all fit together, so that the code and then you have the ZBA, which I was never on. Actually, Peter Van Scoyoc was on the ZBA as well, and so you have to balance if somebody needs a variance. In other words, they can't develop their property within the code, so they need a variance from it, and there are standards that you have to use in order to allow people to have a variance. So, but you have to balance all these, the rights of the people, the rights of the property owners, the rights of the neighborhood, because, you purchase
Sure.
your house expecting certain things, and the expectations are really the things that are put in the code. So, we have to make sure that we balance some of those things. That's why you have public hearings. That's why, you try to do things as transparently as possible and make sure that everybody is informed along the way of the process. It takes longer. It's not like running a company where you can make the decision without considering a lot of other things, but with government, you've got to consider from the center of the property out to the rest of the community.
I think they call it democracy.
Yes, but and that's true. But I think that what I've really learned is that process is so important. And so you don't want to truncate that process. You want to make sure it's able to play out.
Yes. The same thing in teaching. You have to make sure the process is
That's true.
there. So that's one little thing that you've been working on. Not a little thing, that's a big thing. And also, I know I had Alyssa Meyer on last week about the anti-bias task force.
Right.
Now, that was a committee that sort of languished for a while.
It did.
And then you brought it back again.
Picked it up a little over a year ago, and we got new members, and some of the people that had been on it in the past were also on it, so we were really happy to get some people that knew of, that had the history of the whole committee, and we got some really good new members, and we're really moving forward, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good committee with energetic people. We've gotten our brochure completed, and it's up on the website. We're also passing it out at libraries and schools. There's a Spanish version, and there's an English version.
Good.
So we were really happy to do that. Angie Mendez, that works in the clerk's office, helped us with the translation. At least she proofed the translation. Another friend of one of the members actually did the translation for us. So, it's been a collaborative effort again, and that's been really enjoyable to start from scratch and make sure that people that are victims of bias or feel that they might be or that they could have been, and that can take the form of bullying in school or even discrimination in housing. So there are a lot of different components that make up things that the anti-bias task force can look at and hopefully, help with that process as well.
Yes, she came with last week with the brochure,
Oh,
and
good.
it's very lovely looking. I might add, it's very, and I hope it's out in all the libraries and things like that, because people need to see it and know that it's available. We all know the case of the young man who at the high school committed suicide, David Hernandez, and what a terrible tragedy that was. Kids are kids, is what I always say. That's why we call them kids,
Yeah.
And we have to, help them to mature and begin to understand.
But I think some of this we've got in the brochure. There's an email you can go to and a phone number you can call. So these are things that you don't have to sit in silence and suffer if something is happening. So you can go to the email and put in some information, and we will get back to you. So, it's really been a lot of fun trying to put this together, and we think it's going to make a difference in the community.
That's wonderful. I'm really happy to hear that.
I am too.
And then the other thing that you were really deeply involved with, which is the wastewater system, and I'm wondering about when we're going to have Pio Lombardo come back with some kind of, I got something in the backyard. I don't know what it is, but I'm waiting for him to come back to figure out what I'm going to do with it.
Oh, okay.
Call a septic system or a
Yes,
cesspool, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, we have septic systems in the town. The town board has actually, at different times, he has presented his draft document to each of the town board members separately or in groups of 2. So he's going to then present to the town board this coming week, and I look forward. We've seen the document, so now we can ask him some intelligent questions.
Well, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
There'll be a public meeting?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to that, because I really...
So I think it's full of good information that we need to know, how the percentage of septic systems that are, before 1979, which is more than I think we anticipated.
Mine.
And so there's a lot of upgrades that need to happen in order to protect our groundwater. And a big component is the scavenger waste plant that is on Springs Fireplace Road. How we're going to manage that, the importance of it, the non-importance of it. He's giving us, these are the choices and things that we need to look at in keeping the plant, maybe making it permanently a transfer station, maybe getting rid of the plant. So there are all these different components that we need to look at with that.
You certainly have been involved with that situation since you got on the board.
I did. Yeah, that was one of my first assignments, was scavenger waste plant in the sanitation department. So those were things I hadn't had a lot of knowledge about. So
I can't imagine how you would have known about that one. That's really...
So it's a learning curve, but you get there.
Yes.
So.
Well, we're very interested in that, because I am particularly interested in that, because I firmly believe that our water system is the most, and protecting our aquifer.
It is.
If we do not do that, we are going to have places that are going to be really unlivable. I say all the time, and I really believe this very strongly, that water is the new gold, and it is the most important thing in this world.
Yes, and in some parts of the world, water is more valuable than oil.
Yes.
So,
right now in California,
clean water is
That's
so
right.
important. We have clean water right now. We don't want to be in the situation where we, as human beings, have really dirtied our own, place where we need to drink. And so, it's important. We live, work, and play on top of our water supply. So
That's right.
as you go out and live, work, and play on top of your water supply, you've got to make a decision on what you're going to do.
That's right. I keep saying all the time, when that water becomes undrinkable, my house will be first on the market.
And
I'll be in Canada.
And we have no place to go to get, New York City's got, they pipe it in from the reservoir.
Yes.
And what reservoir do we have to go to? We don't. It would be a great expense to be able to have water. So we're very blessed with a clean aquifer, and we need to maintain it and make sure we do have, plumes that are in our aquifer that we need to be knowledgeable about, aware of, and make sure that, and then some of those instances, we've got Suffolk County Water coming in with, but even Suffolk County Water gets their water from the same place your well is. Yes. So
no, people don't always realize that.
No, they think
they're getting it from the same place.
It's the same place. There's just
they just add chlorine.
They just get additives. This is exactly right. So, and sometimes this wellhead might have more of something that they don't want than this wellhead, and they mix the water and you still get the stuff in there. So,
and it isn't only the groundwater and the water we drink, it's also the water in the bays and the water.
well, that's,
I mean, we have to protect that.
We
That
do.
is,
We do.
you know, that's our you know, what's in our pocket.
well, that is. I mean,
And
it's
our
the reason,
economy floats on
that's
that.
right. The reason people come out here is because we've got beautiful beaches and we can swim in the water.
Oh, we do indeed.
So, but then we have the fishermen and the baymen, and, you know, those are all important
Right.
reasons for people to be in this area of the country. So we've got to make sure that and it's hard. It's not always as easy, because you think, oh, if I just put this oil down the drain or this paint down the drain or whatever it is, it's not going to hurt. It's just me doing that. So, but it's you times as many people that keep doing it.
It's even what you put on your lawn. I always say, look, I don't care what I got. You know,
Yep.
it's green and sometimes it's even a little brown. But
we
you
don't
know,
need lawns. I mean,
That's
you know,
right.
we don't need that expansive lawn. Some
That's right.
people want them, but it's really better for the environment if we just don't have these great big swaths of green grass.
Yeah,
So-
that many chemicals have gone into
Yes.
to make.
Just to make it stay that pretty green color and
Yes.
what have you. So it's, yeah, so we need to consider that almost every day. It sounds
Yes.
almost foolish, but if you can consider what you're doing every day, whatever you put down the sink, whatever you put down, any place that, you know, water is going to go, just remember that it's going to come back and you're going to be drinking it.
That's right. Yes. As a matter of fact, I had seal downs on, and we were talking about cleaners. You know, I still think the best cleaner in the world is white vinegar, and baking soda. You know, I mean, I think they're the greatest cleaners you can find.
Well, it's amazing. You know, you see a Windex bottle and it says, made with vinegar. You think, wait a minute, I can do that.
Yes, indeed. You want clean windows? You put vinegar and newspaper, and you got the
Newspaper,
best
that's what my
windows.
mother used to do.
Yeah. So another little finger that you have in another pie is the Arts Council.
The Arts Council, oh, thank you for asking. Yes, the Arts Council is not even a year old, and it's a group of really, again, energetic people, and we've got some really young people in this group, which is exciting. And, you know, their focus is going to be what the arts mean to the town of East Hampton. You know, I've described them as the Chamber of Commerce of art. You know, we've got a great history, a great tradition of art in the town of East Hampton, and you know, we need to pay attention to our artists. And part of what I think they want to say is, you know, we earn our money here, that we are an industry. And if we sell a painting or a piece of artwork, or we write a book, or whatever it is that they're working on, you know, that money comes back and circulates within the community. They're non-polluting. You know, it's a great industry to have out here, and we need to welcome that industry as much as any other industry.
And I know one of the reasons why the visual artists come out here. Have you ever noticed that light?
The light is different.
Oh, my God.
The light is different.
You know, if you go to the city, or I sometimes go to Westchester County because my daughter lives there, and I come back, I can't get over it. I really can't. I get out of my car, I breathe the air, and I look at the sun, and I say, oh, my God, what a place.
It is what a place.
It
I
is
mean,
what
that
a
is
place.
true.
Exactly.
That is true.
So I really, well, that's a wonderful thing to.
Yeah. So the Arts Council is all kinds of art, visual art.
Yes,
and,
I know.
And it can be, you know, architects. We want it all kinds of.
Acting as well?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Performing arts. We are, one of the chair
Dance.
is a performing artist. So it's really an exciting group of people with lots of good ideas.
And it's nice that there are some young people involved, because
Yes.
it's very hard to
Yes.
get young people involved in things
Yep.
because they're all so busy with their lives of, you know, particularly if they have families with young
Right.
children. It's hard to get them to have, they don't have any time.
So
to
these
do
are,
things.
but if you're interested in the arts, it's a passion. And so this is really nice to
Yes,
see
I
that we
know.
get some passionate young people out here. And we're talking local artists. We love our art galleries, and we go to a lot of openings through the summer and spring and the fall. And, you know, we support the film festival, and these are people that come from outside the community to show their wares. And we appreciate all that, but we really need to support our local artists as well. As with, you know, and we can say with with the entire economy. We want to support local.
I couldn't agree with you
Yeah.
more. I mean, local is very, very important.
It is.
You know, that's why we don't have a card store left, because we didn't support the 1 or 2 card stores we had left, and now I don't have any place to buy a card in this town.
Well,
And
well, if anyone's out there listening, they might want to start a
yes,
card
they
store.
should get a card store going. So now you're on this new town board, which everybody that I speak to and run into is so happy to witness what you guys are doing. The tenor of the new town board is one of cooperation, of people working together, and things are actually getting done.
It is. There's a lot of things are moving forward, and it's a real pleasure to be on a town board that keeps moving things forward. And the cooperation, I know it's now a Democratic board as a majority, but you know, Fred is in the loop. He is the one Republican that is on the board and a great guy to work with, and you know, I appreciate his insight. So it's really, you know, I appreciate everyone that's on the board, regardless of their political stripe, because it really falls away. When you're talking about East Hampton, you really aren't talking about political, you're talking about policy. And pretty much, if we boil it all down, a lot of us want that same policy to continue for East Hampton.
Well, we're very grateful that you're working so hard. We're saying, keep it up.
Thank you.
We really need people like
it.
you who are knowledgeable and willing to get in there, roll up their sleeves, and do the hard work.
It's right now for me. I can say it's actually fun. So
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I enjoy being on the show.
And you will soon be on YouTube, and we can find that on ehdems.com.
Wow. Thank you.